Green able to stand up and get the way then to Dawes. Dawes back inside to Lewis. Lewis crashing through. There's another one. Lewis over underneath the post.
Look at wide. Lewis through the gap. He could score. He's going to score. Yes. No double movement. He's got it to Wally Lewis. Wally throws a dummy. Another dummy. And Lewis has gone under the post. An incredible solo try.
Well, this is it. The fold-out chair on the fan. I've got to say this. I think for the first time I'm nervous. Wally Lewis, thank you for joining us.
I think you're nervous because we're sitting under those magpies up there and we could end up with something on our shoulders, Vossi.
The king, the emperor of Lang Park, rugby league immortal. But I'm going to start with a really odd question because I can ask this because you're the only player that I can think of has ever bungee jumped off a grandstand roof while representing their country. Can we start there?
Yeah.
Like Wally Lewis, representing Australia, decides what post-game to bungee jump off Mount Smart Stadium grandstand roof?
Yeah, it was actually. We were just about to go in for the post-match presentation and a couple of the guys, Peter Jackson, the late great Peter Jackson was another. Who said, we got to do this, got to do it. This would be the only time it's been done. So up we went onto the stadium, jumped off, and we got into a bit of strife over that.
Oh, that's bizarre. I mean, that's ridiculous, Wally.
Well, Jacko said there wasn't enough excitement in the game. Let's go and have a little bit more. So we got it over and done with.
My goodness, wow. Well, look, how do we start? I mean, we've got to go way back. And look, I'll start at a real, massive moment in rugby league. First game of State of Origin 1980, and you are part of that very first team. And Arthur Beetson leads you out. Take us back to that very first night. How that ranks in all the things you achieved in the game of rugby league, that you were part of that.
Yeah, extraordinary. That first State of Origin game, it was basically a hope for Queensland that we were going to do well. We were getting thrashed year after year. Such was the disrespect for Queensland teams. They didn't even play the interstate games at the Sydney Cricket Ground.
No, Leichhardt Oval.
Leichhardt Oval. And we'd turn up, and I still remember my first game at Leichhardt Oval, representing Queensland, ran out onto the field, and when we got there, there were about 3,000 or 4,000 people there, and we thought, hello, they're expecting a good performance from Queensland. What we didn't know was that they were playing the final of the High School Cup, I think, on the same day.
Right.
And after that game, they all went home, and there was about 300 people bothered to stay and watch Queensland. But we had some work to do, and as you know, Vossi, I mean, it was basically an opportunity, I think, for Queenslanders to gain some hope. It didn't come around. We thought, we used to tell each other, we're going to do well in this game if we possibly can. We very rarely did. But thankfully, State of Origin came around. But Leichhardt Oval was a match that I remember because of the way that New South Wales kind of just took it casually.
But with Queenslanders in the side, I mean, that's the fact of the matter. There were Rocket Ready would play. Arthur Beetson indeed played for New South Wales.
Yeah, I mean, and it was hard to line up. But we, a lot of the younger blokes, we didn't know anything different because that's the way interstate football was.
Can I say, of all the great things you achieved in your career, I don't think a lot of viewers would appreciate that the second State of Origin game, you're 21 years of age, they make you captain of Queensland. Captain at 21. In the grand scheme of things, that is a huge achievement in your career. Incredible.
Yeah, it was something I was very thankful of the respect that was shown, and I knew I had a bit of a challenge in front of me.
Let's stick with Origin. We've all waxed lyrical about your performances, the countless Man of the Match awards and all the rest. Do you have a best game? In your own opinion, you thought this was as good as I ever went in a maroon jersey. Do you have a favourite game?
Probably Game 2, 1989. And when I look back at that game, it was not so much my performance, what I was doing, but how I was getting around to most of the players and keeping their spirits alive. When the players were going down, we lost 5 guys.
Serious injuries.
I'm sure it's still the only game where a team hasn't finished with full numbers. We finished with 12 players. And it was extraordinary. New South Wales had a good side. We had a number of great players, but you have a look at that one shot in the grandstand at all the guys that were injured. Mel with a fractured cheekbone, Alf with a broken leg. Just the whole the list of them probably would have cast doubt into everybody's mind. But it was the game for me that we got into the sheds and were too tired to celebrate. It was just sit down, have a look at the blokes, have a look what they've done, and feel pretty good about it.
So many Origin questions jumping around in my head. I'll go back a year, 88. Game 2, Mick Stone sends you to the sin bin for 5 minutes. 5 minutes in the sin bin. And the cans start. did you look over your shoulder and go, Jesus, what have I done?
Yeah,
What's happened here?
Well, there were a couple that started. Sam Bacco also got sent off, I believe.
Yeah.
And then I went virtually straight after, and I could hear the noise. I didn't realise that the cans were flying. When we got in, there was a television screen on the inside, and we could see the cans, and I kind of felt good about it. Because I knew
Honesty.
it wasn't a good
Yes.
inspiration, but
No.
for the team, I knew that they were going to be inspired with missing 2 blokes and having the crowd go nuts. It wasn't a good PR exercise for rugby league, I've got to say that.
Full cans. They weren't empty, they were full cans.
The
Yes.
remarkable thing was we get most people who go to the football whinge about the price of a can of beer at the footy, yet they go and throw it away with an opportunity to hit the referee Mick Stone. So Mick remembers that all too well.
Yes, amazing moment, amazing